better. Broke my heart in a letter. She told me she was leaving and her life would be better. Joe.
Okay, I think that I'm actually Jessie now, fronting, but Bree and Harper and probably Jude are here too. Well, I know that Bree and Harper are because they've been talking. So anyway, the little clip at the beginning of this is a song by Flight of the Conchords called Carol Brown. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story because that's what we want to talk about today. In Carol Brown, the lead singer, the speaker of the song, can't remember his name, Jared, I don't know. But anyway, Flight of the Conchords, Carol Brown. They're a really good band. Harper loves them because they've got a lot of really funny songs like Too Many Dicks on the Dance Floor. That one's a really good one. But Carol Brown is him expressing that he's talking about his ex-girlfriends. And there's a lot of them. And he's expressing that he really hopes that this one sticks around and that he can keep her. But during the course of the song, a choir of all these ex-girlfriends start singing. And the things that they say about him, you're like, no wonder, dude, that you do not have a girl. You're horrible. But in his mind, he's the good guy. And all of these girls just left him and ran out on him. And, oh, he just chooses wrong people. So sad for such a good guy. But none of us are the good guys. None of us are the good guys. If you put together a choir of all my ex-boyfriends and they told you everything that was wrong about me, you would know what a horrible person I am. And you are too. If somebody put together all of your ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends to tell everything that you did wrong in the relationship, there'd be a shit ton of stuff. So if you have this view in your mind that you are the good guy and all of these people wronged you and you're single, I'm sorry. No, we're all horrible. We are all horrible. With that said, we're trying not to be so horrible. But our love life is a bit complicated by the fact that there are 4 consciousnesses in here. There are 4 girls, and we have always been in here. We have just been one consciousness, fused together in a bad way. We were fused together badly. The going theory is that all children have these different parts of themselves, and that's why you'll have a toddler that will be fine one moment and throw in a temper the next moment. And then they might say that they want that stuffed animal, and that's the most important stuffed animal in their friggin' life. And then later on, you ask them about the stuffed animal, and they won't even remember the stuffed animal. It's because we all have these different sides of ourselves inside that come together and fuse together around the age of 7 to 9. But when you have significant trauma as a child, your part, and you continue that trauma going into adulthood because you're messed up and irrational. All of your different parts, there is no calm and confident part. That's kind of the theory of internal family systems, is that you've got this one calm, confident, wonderful, loving part, and then all of these other parts that are wanting different things that are irrational. If you've had a lot of trauma as a child, you do not have the calm, confident part. You just don't. I'm probably, as Jessie, I'm probably the closest to the calm, confident part. But I've got some irrationalities going on up in here too. I ignore red flags in men. And I think that he's perfect for me and that I can deal with the things that he's throwing down, all of these red flags. And experience has shown me that I cannot, because eventually it gets too much. The hurts end up getting too much. And Bree has to burn a bridge. With both of my ex-husbands, there were red flags that let me know that they were not the right person for me. And I'm not saying that they weren't the right person for someone else, because they're both married now and they seem to be doing well. And I hope that they are doing well. My first ex-husband has been married for something like 30 years to his second wife. We were very young when we got married, and very young when we divorced. And then he got with his second wife really fast, and they've been together for a long time. So I guess he was the right person for her. Not for me though. There were signs before we got together. But I tend to see the best in people. And also, at that point, I was completely fused together. So, and I was controlling things. And so Bree would bring it to my attention, or she would have a fight with him. And I would kind of blow those things off, because I wanted to be married and I wanted to be in love. And I did that with my second husband also. And Bree's difficult. Bree is definitely difficult because she wants things her way. And she's very competitive. And it's hard to compromise with her when she's in full Bree mode. When we are blended, it's a nice blend between us, but we were never blended quite right. We never got blended quite right when we were 7 to 9 years old. So, therefore, lots of irrationalities. And our significant others could do something one time that Harper would think was hilarious, but they could not read the room right and do it a second time, and it would maybe scare Jude. And that still goes on today. We actually, we've got a friend who wanted us to go to a football game, and Harper and he joke around about sex stuff all the time. He's just a friend, but the night before the game, he called really late, and Jude answered, and he was saying some really dirty, nasty things to her, which Harper would have laughed about and given right back, but because we were in Jude mode, Jude is very she still goes by these rules that we were taught in childhood, and it's really hard. It's really hard for she you know, if she was alone in here, she probably would be in a convent away from everybody else, because she'd like to be married to Jesus. You know, she'd like to be a nun. In fact, she'd like to be back with Jesus. She says that all the time, that she wants to be back with God. And she's had a vision of Jesus, so she's sure that he's waiting for her, and she wants to be back with him. So she has not that much interest in men or women as far as romance goes, as far as relationships goes. And that can be difficult sometimes for us too. So we ended up not going to the ball game because she was scared that she was going to get raped. And so even though, I don't know, our friend's a little complicated. So who knows how the night would have gone if we had have gone. But she was scared, so we made the decision not to go. And she told him about it later and said that she was scared by the things that he'd said. But Harper does it too. So I don't know what the answer is there. We're confusing. We just need to find, as far as romance goes, we need to find someone who understands all four of us. And doesn't think that he's the good guy, because none of us are the good guys. And also believes kind of the way that we believe, because you can't be connected to someone who believes so totally different from you that there is no middle ground, that you're always going to be seeing it from one side or the other. So, that's what we're kind of looking at right now. And we're not ready anyway. We are still very irrational. Well, that's the love part. Are we going to talk about the sex?